Hey, it is December the 14th of 2024, the tail end of it. We made it. We made it through almost. Not there yet. I would like to address the fact is that I haven't done no content creating for like 3 weeks. And I probably won't do, I'm not getting it done. I don't have time, basically. That's what it comes down to, is that I really don't have time to get on and do the content creating. And shout out to everybody. I love all y'all out there. They say it's about time management. So I'm not managing my time good enough. And Lord knows I'll be working on it. I want to continue to work on time management, but it's a process. It's gonna take some time. And in the meantime, I did have a little bit of time here. It's the weekend. I have been doing stuff. I've been up and about doing things, but with a little bit of time that I have right now, I just wanted to put on a little video stream. In order to just not start up the channel or anything again or anything, because Lord knows I don't got time, but I just wanted to be on the record. All right. I want to be well documented about what I'm saying right here. Women are temporary. That's the name of this here stream. People might jump to conclusions what I mean about that. Women are temporary. And that's why I wanted to explain myself and articulate. I could have done it days and days ago, but didn't have the time. All right. Would I had to rush myself about it. I want to make sure that I get whatever. I'll probably remember stuff afterwards. After we cut off the stream, I'll remember stuff, and we'll talk about that, I guess, at a later time. All right, but I want to get out the gist of it, the most of it, the bulk of it. All right, number one, obviously, I don't know if you know this, but all sort of freaking chaos and calamity and malarkey, if you will, going on. Right? I mean, not to mention some of this here. What's called Project Bluebeam? That's in full effect. All right. Believe it or not, they're rolling out the Project Bluebeam right now. And then, of course, wars and all sort of wars. There's more than just the Ukraine issue going on. There's more than just the Israel, whatever the hell it is they're out there doing over there. There's more than just those two things going on as far as conflicts in the world. But I want to also stress that those two things aren't really disconnected, not really happening in a vacuum necessarily. I got a feeling that much of the Israeli government, if we're to be specific about who we're talking about, the government and those who are paid by the Israeli government, they do not like Russia. They do want to have beef with Russia and stuff. They got their hands full over there with what they're doing in the Middle East, but they don't like Russia either. And if they weren't busy, they would want to poke that bear all that they could. Anyways, doesn't even matter. We're poking the shit out of that bear. It's not stopping. It's only increasing and will only lead to absolute destruction. Really, really, honestly, it will. It's interesting, and I know it's a slew of people who probably feel the same way as we do. All right, but I was thinking about it like the other day, considering Donald Trump, right? So a lot of people don't want to. They don't want to like Donald Trump. They want to hate Donald Trump. This and that. They'll never see anything. But what's interesting is that it's almost as though Donald Trump is one man who may prevent World War III. And World War III is not like gonna happen. It is happening. We're already way into it. So he would have to actually single-handedly pull us out of World War III, in which we are already balls deep up in it. And wouldn't that be something to go down in history as the one man pulled us out of a world war that we were already in? That'd be quite interesting. This stream's about ladies, though, more so. I mean, the whole World War III and everything, that to me is the most important because we're all going to get blown to smithereens. And it's actually kind of unlikely that we get blown to smithereens. I think it's definitely a possibility. That's for sure. It's a very real possibility. But more so, we'll just be fed into a slow meat grinder designed to kill all us and take all our money. All right. That's terrible. It's that's important. Right. But I was thinking about it, there's be a lot of people on this earth, I'm sure, not just in America, who are hoping and praying that carnage doesn't happen. I'll be included in that. I don't necessarily want to die real soon and have everybody else dying around me. But this is what our government definitely wants for us, and that's for sure. I don't know if that offends you, but I find it very offensive. Thing is, if we get past this, thank God for Donald Trump, and then we need to help Donald Trump in every single way that we can. All right, for peace. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about Jesus Christ. It's about not blowing all each other to smithereens. All right, that's not the solution. But if we did get past that, all right, and we somehow were able to prevail against this particular current crisis that we're in, and the migrant, not to mention all the migrants and stuff, call them migrants. They're illegals. They're here illegally. Need to leave. I totally back Trump and whatever he wants to do and stuff. Get him out of here, maybe. And all the false flags that are going to come with that. You better believe it's going to come with that. These Democrat parties or this whatever else look to sow discord, so they will not hesitate to delete people. Also, they will delete all sort of immigrants in order to make Donald Trump look bad. That's for sure. And everybody else, man, everybody needs to keep their head on a swivel because they'll delete the shit out of you. And you know what I mean by deleted off of this earth in order to make Donald Trump look bad. They won't hesitate about that. If we were to get past this particular conflict and whatever the whole damn situation that we're facing right now, it's in my opinion, and it's a humble opinion, that we don't stand a chance anyways as America, not as people on earth, because there's plenty of places on earth, but as America, we simply don't stand a chance, period, even if we got past this. That's a terrible black pill type scenario to admit, but the math is not gonna add up. There's no way that we're gonna continue as a country. What does that mean? I don't know. Some sort of getting conquered. We're gonna get conquered at the very least. Within my guess to be about 2 generations, maybe. We'll flounder until about 2 generations from now. That is if we make it that far, and I don't know that we will, but if we did, we'll maybe flounder around for about 2 generations and easily get conquered. That's for sure. It's America. There's no way around it, and I don't even know by who exactly necessarily. I'm going to talk about that. Who exactly is going to conquer us? I'm not sure exactly yet. But conquered we will be. We'll be very vulnerable for it. Why? Various reasons, but mainly want to focus on the fact is we ain't having enough babies. And we are absolutely not going to have enough babies. There's no way around that. We're headed for destruction. There's a certain amount of babies on average that people need to have in order to continue to bolster their society or their country or something like that. You have to have a particular amount of babies. We're not having that. And in fact, we're going to go down lower and lower and lower. That is for sure and for certain. All right. So, as far as like, oh, let's keep America going, let's keep it great, let's make it great, let's get it great, keep it great, and let's keep this train rolling and rolling and rolling. It's not going to even work, unfortunately. Right? I find it very unfortunate because I like the whole idea of America and the concept behind America and all this. But it's just the truth, right? No one would come out with it. There's different various reasons. Number one, we're being poisoned, for example, and we've been being poisoned for quite some time. There's an RFK and various other people who claim to want to combat that poisoning, and thank God for that, right? If that is indeed what they want to do, it's great because there's a lot of different various little things that's poisoning us on an everyday basis that we could eliminate that are unnecessary, but their whole purpose for these little poison toxins that they're hitting us with is to kill us, right? There is a very specific purpose for that. But more so, before we get up out of here, I want to talk about ladies. That's the reason that I came on, and that's the biggest reason and why we don't even stand a chance. Not at all. Not a little bit. We do not. And I want to explain as I've explained before. And mind you, there's certain people who will never ever hear my words, no matter what. I'm a hater of women. I'm so misogynistic and all this. So I'm not talking to them because they're incapable of hearing. But for the people who can hear, I want to state plainly, as I've stated before, I do not hate women at all. Not even a little bit, not a tiny slice of hatred do I have for them. I don't actually hate anybody on earth as far as people go, or not even animals. I don't even have hatred for animals or plants or any sort of. There's nothing. I don't have hate for anything. I don't have the time for it, even. Perhaps if I learn to manage my time better, I'll find time to hate something. But to this day, I don't hate nothing. All right. To include and especially women. You can say that I love women, actually. You can say that I'm kind of a connoisseur of women in a sense. Not that I'm running through them, but I like their aesthetic and I like to look at it. And I gotta say, in certain instances, I like their presence, their aura, if you will. I like it. All right. I'm a fan of it and I'm not hating on them. Right. And I might as well say that if there was anything that I could hate on women about and that I could change women, if some genie in a bottle came down and I rubbed on it, a genie in a little lamp, and I rubbed on it, and the genie popped out and said, "Hey, you could change one thing about women, and I will change it about women in general for you. One thing about them, you could change it. I would change nothing at all, nothing at all, because of, mainly because I'm a believer in the butterfly effect, or I don't know if it's called something different, but if you recall from that movie, if you ever seen that movie with Ashton Kutcher, all right, the butterfly effect. Long story short, I don't think you could change something about women. If you change one thing about women, it would wind up changing many multiple things about women that you didn't even consider. So to me, it's too risky. It's too risky to even think about changing any one thing in women about in general. Right. And that's what I want to state plainly. But however, there is an issue. All right. And it will lead to our demise. And it is pretty for certain. I want to talk to you about it. Of course, that we're not going to have enough babies. The reason why is because men and women are not on the same page at all. And I'm speaking in generalities. They're not on the same page at all. All right. And for example, speaking in generalities, you might not know this. If you don't, most people do know this. It's hard to even ask women because they're so disingenuous, which I don't mind. It's just that's how they are. Is quite simply, if you have eyes, especially here in America, but probably in a lot of places, the majority of men, you had to guess 70, 80% of men really don't get attention from women, especially when you're talking about younger and younger. There's some old boomers out there who've been married and they're gonna stay married and this and that, whatever. They had to deal with their own situation. But when you're talking about current prospects and future prospects, about 70, 80% of men really do not get hardly any attention from women. And if they do, if a woman does lend them attention, that woman subconsciously, if not consciously, knows that she could do whatever she wants. That is basically a seller's market, and that man better fucking jump through all sort of hoops because you did him a favor in these days. Speaking in general, a woman feels like she's doing you a favor by even getting with you because women don't even look at you like that. Nobody even cares about you like that. We're talking about the average man. The average man is invisible to women and just annoying in general to women. They don't want to get with you. They want to get with the Chad and the Tyrone, the top percentage. They want to get with them, and they can, and they will, because of social media, and everybody knows this. They're gonna get their boots knocked. They're gonna get their ramshackled. All right. However, they are gonna get kicked to the curb every time because Chad and Tyrone and whatever the Hispanic version of it is, Javier, they don't have time to be in relationships with all these women that are knocking down. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. All right. So in this regard, on a rare occasion, you might even have an average looking woman even entertain an average looking man, but he's going to be walking on pins and needles the whole time. This is the environment that we're in, the social environment, the dating environment, and that's just how it is. All right. What's interesting is the other day I was actually hearing about because lots of times we talk about America, but the other day, for example, I was listening to Pearl Davis. She has like a daily show that she does now, which she's kind of like discussing, male and female relations and how it's kind of trending downwards. It's not looking very good. Anyway, she was talking about India the other day. India, big old country full of a lot of fucking people. And that being said, this is going to be a little bit of chaos. It's part of like India is like a little bit of a third world from time to time. But speaking in general, they were talking about the laws that are in place as far as pertaining to men and women. And that's the thing, it's pretty unfair. People have deduced that when you're talking about family court, child custody, this and that, divorce, people have concluded that in America is quite unfair. In places like Britain, you would imagine the Western world, all basically the same, right? So they're all going the same direction, anyways. India is even worse for men, it seems. As an example, if you, and I don't know about all of India, but they're saying that in most of India, If you were to have a girlfriend, right? For example, let's say you had a girlfriend for 5 years. Let's say you had her for 10 years. It's kind of a long time to have a girlfriend, but and let's say you broke up with her. This is just one example over there in India. Let's say you broke up with your girlfriend of 5 years. She has what it takes to file a criminal case against you automatically. Why? Because y'all had relations. Y'all had relations, and because of this, it's basically the man t- telling the lady, giving her the idea that y'all are going to get married one day. If you don't get married, well, basically, you are worded this lady, your girlfriend of 5 years. She could turn around and say, "Hey, guess what? We didn't get married. I basically was R worded for 5 years." And I don't know if you think it's a joke, it's deadly real. She'll file a complaint against you. You're going to go to prison. You could potentially easily go to prison for even having a girlfriend in India. That's like a little bit messed up. But that's a more extreme example. All right. Um, so we have it in a bad way here in America. And we're not going to have enough babies in order to survive. There's plenty of other countries, they're not having enough babies in order to survive either. All right. So who's going to be the ones to conquer us? Well, our own government and their overlords are trying to conquer us right now. So I couldn't really even tell you about that. But we're gonna get conquered regardless, I feel, within 2 generations because not only are we not having enough babies now, it's gonna be worse and worse. 2 generations from now, it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna be even less babies, even less opportunity for men to make babies with the ladies. Right. And one thing I wanted to point out, the biggest thing I guess for this video that I wanted to point out is some people think, oh man, we need to get the ladies to change and this and that. If we need to get the ladies to become more traditional. We need to convince them that being whores and prostitutes the way that they are now, that's for sure. In general, half of every woman you meet is doing sex work, probably, or is going to, for money. All right. So it's not it's to some people might think, oh man, let's convince the guys to settle down because there's people on the internet that are all about this. The conservative, they're traditional, whatever. You need to get married. You need to get married soon. That's what they say. Like you need to get married early. You need to convince a woman out there that she's the light of your life and blah blah blah, and treat her very, 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 very good. And you need to start putting babies in her. You need to put 8, 10 babies in her as fast as you can and stuff. And that's how you're a man, all right? That's how we're gonna get America. We're gonna keep America great and stuff, they say. It's dumb, it's stupid, but they can't help but think what they're thinking right now because they're doing like the simple math. They're like, dude, if we have 8, 10 babies each, then perhaps we might not dwindle down into oblivion. Is what they're thinking. It's a pretty decent venture to guess, I suppose. It's not gonna work though, unfortunately, because um, long story short is women are all the same, and I know it hurts them to hear that. They're not even supposed to hear it. You know how like you have certain language that you're used to not speak in front of women because they're too tender hearted and they're too emotional and stuff like that. So you would ask them to leave the room and go perhaps make tea and crumpets or something while you actually have serious conversation. Um, women, women are different. All right, that's the thing about it. There are exceptions, and I have seen them, and I can't deny that. There are exceptions to the rule. Those exceptions are so rare, so few and far between that it's unbelievable. unbelievable. Like to think that you, and I'm talking to you, have found the exception. You found the exception to the rule. Oh, your girl's different. Oh, she's special. You are a retard and you're dumb. And there's a 97% chance that you're fucking wrong and you're lying to yourself and others. Your woman is the exact same. And what was pointed out by Pearl, she's been talking about it recently, is that that is the case. You have, for example, these conservative track time girlfriends or girls out there, and then you got total sluts running around sleeping with 100 people a day. Those two type of women are not even that different, right? Their environment has led them to make certain choices in their own particular individual lives. Some of those choices might be better than others, but for the most part, if put in the same predicament, if put in the same situation, most women would act basically more or less the same. They're the same as each other. And you could probably say that the same about men as well. You might as well. Like, I'm not really concentrating on that right now, but perhaps you could say, hey, man, all men are the same. They're all going to act the same. They're in general the same. And I might even agree with that. All right. So women are the same. All right. You think you got something special? No, you do not. All right. You have fucked up. All right. There's no way to think you have something special. The only time you might have something special is if you know that for a fact. And the thing is, you're not never going to get something special unless you are a big time player, anyways. If you're not a big time player, you're not going around. If people don't look at you with mad respect wherever you go, you don't have what it takes to get this so called special woman. And meanwhile, that special woman, she'll even, she even has her limits that she'll put up with before she leaves you. All right. And so the title of this stream was that women are temporary. And that's what I want to get at for men because I think that's really going to help men into the future. In fact, a lot of men are going to go down. They're going to go down hard. All right. No Diddy, but they're going to go down real hard from not accepting the fact that women are all the same. You're thinking that perhaps if you look around, you can find something special. There's a lot of men. That's the biggest and most disgusting, pathetic thing that I've ever seen. Is these men and these young men out here believing in the Disney movie fairy tale and stuff and this and that. One thing I've deduced and I've kind of noticed that men truly are more romantic than women, and it's not even close. All right. In fact, women are just not romantic at all. All right. This is how you can win over a woman with romance is because they're not romantic. You're hitting them with something that they can't even do. They're not even good at it. All right. But that's the problem for men. This Disney fairy tale thing. You notice how they always use the words happily ever after. That almost implies there's some sort of permanence to this relationship you have with a woman. What I want to state quite clearly, and I think what's going to help out the most men here, is that there is zero that is permanent about a woman. Oh, who hurt you? Oh, this and that. Why are you? Oh, you must be all traumatized. Whatever, dude. Maybe someone did. It's irrelevant. All right. Women are all the same. And so here's the thing there's nothing permanent about them, not even semi permanent. You know, we're all like dust in the wind, like throughout the galaxy. You know, technically our bodies aren't permanent. I get philosophically how nothing is permanent. Women are the least permanent thing that is on earth, period. Basically. What you need to take to heart, no matter how special you think that you found a woman, if she's going to leave, that is, I don't know what else to tell you. She's going to leave one day. I don't know if it's going to take 1 year, if it's going to take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I've seen even longer periods of time. She's going to leave regardless. And that's why I want to like just put it out there for men to think about because I've totally embraced this. I don't have a problem with women. Like I said, I love women, wouldn't change anything about women at all. That's why I want to extend this to something to grab onto and hold on to, think about. And perhaps you could have this kind of solace and calmness when it in regards for women. I find that very attractive and everything. It's like, but I don't have to get carried away. They are temporary. They're going to leave. You need to know this. Here's the thing, lots of people would assume what I mean by a woman is temporary and you should treat her as such. A lot of people, especially women, would take it the wrong way. They would think to themselves, "Oh, well, you're going to treat women any sort of way. Oh, you're going to treat them very bad and stuff. You're going to be a stinking jerk to women and stuff. You think that's a solution?" That's actually not what I'm talking about at all. They're temporary. That's what I'm saying. There's no way in the world this woman's not going to leave you one day. You have a 0% chance. If you want to think about it like that, you have like a 0.005% chance that maybe that she won't leave you eventually. And the thing is, just because she's temporary doesn't mean you need to treat her badly. I'll give you an example. My ex-wife, as well as many other people's ex-wives, their ex-husbands, if you will, if you were to run into them, if I were to run into them, they would treat me like worse than Hitler. I would be a terrible nightmare of a person, right? And they would treat me like that. However, as people in general, speaking in general, you walk outside, you go to walk down the street, you'll see strangers and you might even say hi to them and you'll treat them nice. What's like 100% of the time is that your ex-wife or your ex whatever, they're going to treat strangers much more better than they treat you, which is ironic, isn't it? Y'all supposedly loved each other for such and such time, and however, it means nothing, and they'll treat a stranger way better than they treat you. And that's what I mean. It's like, dude, you could treat a stranger nice, then why not? There's no reason to not be nice to a stranger. And just because your woman is temporary and you know she's temporary, there's no reason to not be nice to her anyway. That's what I think men would be better off to think about is the fact is that yeah, she's gonna leave one day. I'm not talking about right now. She's here right now, technically, if she's there. Treat her nice. Why not? She's there. Isn't that nice? Treat her nice. Is she gonna leave later? Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Treat her nice right now. When she leaves later, you'll deal with that when that happens, when that takes place. But treat her nice and know that she's temporary. Man, F around and get in this mindset. Oh, this lady, she says she's gonna be here forever, and so we're forever buddies, and we're gonna be doing this. It's till death do us part. This is so permanent and stuff like that. And in general, it's in a man's nature to do many things to be a provider, to be a provisioner of women, to support women, to facilitate for women, to do this and that, bend over backwards for women. And they think it's like some permanent thing, relationship that they got going on. So when the relationship is over, so when that woman is basically trying to leave you, now there's plenty of men out there who will lose their shit and crash out. I might as well bring up right now, for example, Brad Simpson. It's a story that we had covered a little while back, back when we were on the internet. Here in San Antonio, Olmos Park, to be specific, Brad Simpson probably did something very bad to Suzanne Simpson, his wife, and now she's disappeared. Likely she's dead, but we don't know. All right. But that's very likely. And it's very likely that he did it, but we don't know, but probably. All right. So, more or less, what I can say is that she's probably going to leave him, is what I'm piecing together. Right? It was a surprise. Now you're getting left, and now she's gonna do this and that and try to destroy you. Probably, I don't know. They say she's a sweet angel who never did nothing wrong. When they're talking about Suzanne Simpson, that's probably not the case. Right? And you know, probably I can't say for sure. Brad Simpson did some unthinkable things to his wife, who is no longer with us, and stuff like that. All right. These really aren't special people who I'm talking about. It's not a special circumstance. That's what I'm trying to get at. There was another story just the other day, and the thing is, there's a slew of stories. This is constant. This really never stops, especially in San Antonio. So I'm just cherry picking certain stories right now. But the other day, there was this woman, I forget where in town, and her boyfriend, and I believe they were of elder age, her boyfriend beat her unrecognizable. All right. Probably she was going to leave him. He flipped out. He beat her unrecognizable. Or there could have been another situation, but I'm just going by what's likely. She's trying to leave him. He gets upset, beats her. I mean, beats her about the face. For example, get this. The daughter actually is one of a grown daughter, apparently, is the one that found her mother laying there beaten. She was beaten so bad she was unrecognizable. Her mother was beaten so bad that, according to the articles, they didn't know whether or not she was shot in the face. They needed to figure out whether or not she was shot in the face, but it was kind of hard to tell. Right. And in fact, the boyfriend then he went into like the back room, he shot himself, deleted himself. Apparently, the lady who he beat unrecognizable, she's still alive, but she's in a bad, bad way. All right. This is another case like these people are doing heinous things. You would think unthinkable things. What I'm here to say is these people are not special either. This isn't a special circumstance. This is a very regular circumstance in which man somehow flew off the handle and did something very heinous, very savage. I they Here's what I can tell you: whatever mindset these people had, it was nowhere near the mindset that I'm talking about. All right, and in that you need to say if you like being around women, like myself, if you like being around them, you're attracted to them. You like their aura and stuff from time to time. You like to have them around for certain reasons. And they decide to leave, you always knew they were going to leave. This is temporary. And so when their time is up and they're about to leave, well, how's it dawn on you now? You got to beat them into oblivion. Oh, you got to delete them now. It's like it's their time to leave. Just let them go. God dang. Like, I mean, I don't know if I sound like a pussy or whatever, but let them leave and live your life. All right. Lots of times, men feel like their life is going to be destroyed too, as well. That's something to talk about too, as well. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. But you could treat a woman well. You could treat her damn well. and you could enjoy every time, every moment y'all have together. The second she decides to leave, say, "Thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate it. You can please leave now. It's not even a problem at all." But in order for you to even have that kind of like mindset, that kind of lifestyle, you need to, number one, recognize that she's temporary. Number two, stop being such a simp fucking loser as you are. See, this is the reason why you're building up so much animosity. Is that because you're a simp? You bent over backwards for this woman, think it's going to be permanent. There's nothing about it is permanent. You need to stop bending over backwards, you fucking loser. You need to, if a woman will help you in your life, you need to tell her how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like if a woman would, because y'all are over here doing this, doing that, doing this and that for a woman and stuff, thinking, oh, this is gonna build credit in her mind. Fuck no, it's not gonna do anything like that. This woman is temporary, and as such, you can be very nice to her, and you should be. But if she's temporary and stuff like that, you might as well get her to help you with things. What, I don't even care what. Send her on errands to the store. I don't care what you need for this lady to do. If she needs to do your taxes, probably not a good idea, but I'm just saying anything. Cook your food and stuff like that. Have her do something. All right. You're putting her on this pedestal where she could just do no wrong. You need to have her do things. And if she's not doing things for you, she needs to leave. Women are temporary. Do you get it? You don't need to be so mad at them. You don't need to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep this woman. This woman's mine forever." They are all temporary. You're not getting it. Kanye West, Tom Brady, Donald Trump. I don't care who you're talking about. Whatever alpha male you're talking about. I don't care how hard you think you're gonna try. Oh, I'm gonna try so hard, and she's gonna respect me and never leave. It's literally not the case for any woman at all. Period. And let me also mention that there's going to be exceptions. It's going to be quite rare. With time, it's going to be more and more so rare of women who do stick around. They do stick around with their husbands till the end, in which one of y'all dies of natural causes. That is going to happen sometimes. Statistically, that is going to happen. So that's like a win-win situation. That's incredible. Congratulations, right? Because if you're treating a woman well and you know full well that she's temporary, and then let's given the case that she chooses to never leave, does that change anything? Did you lose anything? No, not at all. You stand to lose nothing by treating her well, knowing she's temporary. Oh, she never left. Oh, well, it's even better. Even better. All right, but that's the problem when they leave. Lots of times, see, more often than not, a woman's gonna wreck your life and wreck you financially and take your kids away and this and that. That's what she means to do. All right, she's gonna do that. Here's the thing: she's gonna do that unless perhaps you wind up shooting her, cutting her up, putting her at the bottom of a lake like Brad Simpson tried to do. I don't suggest that. I don't think that's necessary. And that's, of course, against her human rights to not be deleted. Right? Tripping out. All right. If you always knew she was temporary, the day she leaves, not that big of a deal. But here's what I gotta say before we get up out of here. The whole thing about I know that a couple generations from now, it's not going to be no America to save anyways. Oh, let's save America. Let's make it great. It won't matter anyways. Because we're not going to have enough babies anyways. Let's think about it. Man, you could treat women nice and even have my mindset that they're temporary. and just treat it as a fling that's going to end one day. That'd be for the best, but that's not going to equal enough babies in order to survive. To keep it up above a certain number of babies on average is not going to happen. And so at that point, some people would blame the white man because honestly, we've kind of find out men do not mind really having a few babies. They don't mind that at all. The dealing with the women is what's becoming more and more difficult. What I want to stress is that, first of all, we're talking hypothetically. You can't change women anyways. Everybody out here thinking, "Oh, we can change women. We can change their way of thinking." Oh, women used to be a lot different 50 years ago than they are now. No, not really. They've been given more choices and options, and those choices and options will not be taken away. They will only increase for women. All their choices and options, and they're not going to realize until it's too late that their choices and the options are to get be down, all right, and kick to the curb where you deserve to go. Right. I wouldn't change anything about women if I could. Like, it's not about changing women. Women have and will always be the same as far as I know. What's in the way, and it's quite simple, everybody already knows it, is the laws that we have. And the laws that will not be taken away either. We're not going to change. No one's going to change these laws. And in India, as I mentioned earlier, the laws are even worse. And so they're going to have definitely a population collapse before long, even though India has been doing pretty good about it. Now they're about to. They're not going to have enough babies. It's because of the laws specifically. It's because, women have the incentive. They're being, and speaking in generalities, they have the incentive to ruin you financially. They have the incentive to take away your children, anyways. They have incentive to either have your children or delete your children. They might even just delete your children. Don't even have to tell you they're doing that. All sort of laws that are killing us, and they're not going to be stopped. Like, for example, if you were to take away all child support laws, here's what I guarantee. Even though we can't really see it play out here in the world, if you were to take away all child support laws and all these child custody courts and divorce and everything else, the alimony, if you were to take all those laws and say, guess what? None of this is even a thing anymore. What are y'all gonna do if you want to decide to divorce? I don't know. Y'all figure it out. There's no laws for this. You need to do something about it. Imagine in a hypothetical America that taking place, what I guarantee you is that there would be more babies. There would be a lot more babies. All right, because women see it as a way for men to run away and not have any obligation. However, it's like men are very afraid of being ruined financially and all this stuff. It's like after they married you, they're afraid to lose you. If they do get your attention at all, anyways, and most of them won't. Most men are going to be invisible to you. You're not even going to pay attention to them. The certain amount of men who do make enough money, who are good looking enough, or this and that, and they meet all these criteria, they'll get the chance to marry you after your good years are probably gone. Speaking in generalities, they'll get to marry you into your early 30s or something like that, and you're gonna give them problems. You're gonna give them guff, but they want to make children. It's like built into them that they want to spread their seed and make the children as much as they can. You give him children, and then throughout your marriage, you're making it as so that he better do what the fuck you want, and if you don't, well, you're gonna get unhappy. The woman's going to leave the man because she's unhappy. She's going to break him off and take half his stuff. More than half, typically. Take his children and turn his children against him. All right, and the laws that we have are going to not only facilitate but encourage her to do this. And yeah, maybe one times out of 100, the man's gonna flip out, crash out, and delete the woman. Do you think the government cares at all that he deleted you? No, not at all. It doesn't make any difference. The government's getting paid, period, because they're all up in it. They're all up in y'all's relationship getting money. And they're promising the woman all sort of money. She'll get the money. The government gets the money. The man gets screwed over and he feels some sort of way. And so he can't treat you as temporary. That's why I bring it up. A man can't properly treat you as temporary if he's indeed married to you and you have children with him and you're holding that all over his head. He cannot treat you temporary because the laws are set in place to absolutely ruin him. And so he cannot treat you properly, which is to say temporary, which is to say he's trying so hard to not get ruined, and yet and still you might leave him, and when you do, he might crash out and delete you. You get what I mean? So, in a world that's not going to happen, in a world in which America might even stand a chance to have enough babies, it would be totally up to adult people to take care of their own business. If a woman was mad because a man left because he didn't want to deal with you because you're only temporary anyways, and she's mad and she wants to get half of your stuff, she has your child and this and that, whatever, she's not going to get anything anyways. She better learn to not have babies by any random guy, or at least be loyal to the guy who you're having babies by. She'll have to learn real quick because there's not going to be a law that makes sure that she gets paid and the government gets paid and the man gets fucked every single time. Speaking in generality, sometimes it's actually the opposite. Sometimes the man is getting paid and the government's getting paid and the woman's getting fucked if she in fact makes more money. That does happen as well. But yeah, that's what I wanted to be on record about, is that America does not stand a chance. I do not predict that anything about the child support laws or child custody or divorce court, I don't think any of that's going to change at all, period. No matter how great we get, no matter if we somehow avoid World War III, it doesn't matter because we're not going to change the child support and the child alimony and all this. And what that's going to do is continue to exacerbate the problem and the rift between men and women. They're not going to be able to work together because women are always going to be on the side of the government against the man. That's just how it's going to be, speaking in general. Would I change that about women? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change a thing about women. Women are perfect the way that they are. These laws that are put on the books are designed to eliminate a society and to delete that country or whatever. This is what they're designed to do. Whoever first implemented these laws knew full well what they were doing. They knew full well that decades and decades and decades later, that's how you delete a whole country. That's how you totally, what to say, genocide people, is something as simple and innocuous as these child support laws and all these laws regarding relationships between a man and a woman. The damage has already been done. We could technically stop today and say all those laws are abolished and there are no such laws. We would save our country eventually because of that. Because we're not going to do that, and I bet $1,000,000 that nobody's ever going to change those laws. Because we're not going to change the laws, we are definitely going to become extinct. That's for sure. That 0% chance we do not become extinct because of that. And I find it amusing, I guess. It's the end of days. Anyways, I gotta get some shit done, as I'm sure a lot of people are doing, staying busy, preparing for what's most likely going to be World War III on our asses, even though nobody even asked for this. It's our governments colluding to delete all of us and genocide us. Why? Because they don't want to get caught for all the laws that we know that they've broken and they'll never come to justice to. Instead, they want to delete us and poison us and get rid of all us. It's called depopulation. Ask Bill Gates about it. He loves it. It's criminality to the max. It's lawlessness like you wouldn't believe abounding on our asses right now, currently. It's more important to be able to, and we'll get up out of here, but check this out. Women will never be changed, all right? Don't ever think you're going to change women. It is more important for them to be able to cut out babies from their womb, suck them up with a vacuum, and spit them off into the garbage. That's literally more important to them than World War III, which is currently on our asses, where we all die into smithereens. The abortion part is more important than that part, and that's not never going to change about women. So what can you change? The laws. Will they ever change them? No, we're all going to die. It's insane. But anyways, December the 14th, 2024. I'll holla at y'all maybe sometime a little bit later. I appreciate y'all. And holla at me in the comment section. What, you got 2 people up in the building? Y'all are late as hell, dude. I've been talking for an hour. So I'm going to cut off because, I don't even know who y'all are. And y'all can holler at your boy in the comment section. Y'all should do that. I appreciate y'all. I'll holler at y'all. Women are temporary. Period. You need to get smart or something. I'll holler at you a little bit later.